Washington, 9 months after President Donald Trump joined with the leaders of Mexico and Canada to sign a new North American trade deal, supporters in Congress are preparing to make one last push to ratify the agreement before what is expected to be a bruising 2020 election campaign. But if lawmakers from border states such as Texas are going to be successful, they will need to bring together the populist Trump administration and progressive Democrats at a time when free trade deals are coming under increasing attack from both parties. And they must do it in the Twitter-fueled, hyper-partisan atmosphere of today's politics. You have a very small eye on this needle to keep business and special interest groups satisfied, said Josh Ziv, a Washington-based trade attorney. How do you do that in the current political environment? We haven't done it in this current mix of social media, the populist and nationalist movement and high levels of activism. The North American Free Trade Agreement, which went into effect in 1994 and eliminated tariffs between the United States, Mexico and Canada, has proven hugely popular in border states like Texas, where the growth in international commerce has provided an economic windfall. On HoustonChronicle.com, as Trump spars with China, market for U.S. energy falls into doubt, but among increasing numbers of Democrats and Republicans, the steady outsourcing of jobs to lower-wage countries has brought into question the cost for America's working class of free trade deals at large. And with Trump eager to ratify an updated trade deal, termed the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement or USMCA, progressive lawmakers are seeing an opportunity to increase worker protections. Led by the powerful AFL-CIO, unions are pressing Congress to ensure that steps are taken to make sure Mexico keeps in place recent reforms raising standards for workers there, thus eliminating some of the appeal for U.S. companies to relocate manufacturing operations there. The labor reform passed by the new Andrés Manuel López Obrador administration is a step in the right direction, but already you have a coalition of businesses and old, institutional Revolutionary Party unions working to rescind those laws, said Bob Cash, director of the Texas Fair Trade Coalition, referring to the party that controlled Mexican politics for more than 7 decades. There's a question of how those laws would be implemented, significant shift, and Democratic leaders are listening. Rep. Henry Cuellar, de Laredo, one of the leading advocates for the USMCA, said worker protections and enforcement of those protections were at the top of the list of issues Democrats were trying to work out with Lighthizer. Though the trade agreement was signed by Trump in November, legislative steps can be taken to amend the deal without reopening negotiations with Mexico and Canada, Cuellar said. Negotiations kicked off earlier this summer after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi named a working group stacked with progressives to negotiate with the White House. Teams met regularly before the August recess, and those negotiations are scheduled to pick up when Congress returns to Washington next month. For now, there is optimism a deal can be made. That is a significant shift from the last time a major trade pact was under negotiation. During the 2016 campaign, as the Obama administration pushed to conclude the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the trade deal generated so much resistance among Democrats that the party's eventual nominee, Hillary Clinton, Obama's former Secretary of State, said she would not sign the agreement if elected, which would have created free trade zone among a dozen Pacific Rim nations encompassing 40% of the global economy. Cuellar maintains that USMCA can avoid the same fate because it includes stronger worker protections, which has improved the chances of gaining the support of progressive Democrats. The atmosphere is very different this time. In the past, you couldn't finish the question and progressives would say no. In this one they're saying they want to get to yes, we're trying to learn a little bit more, Cuellar said. Robert Lighthizer has been really accommodating. More, read the latest oil and gas news from HoustonChronicle.com. Rep. Kevin Brady, R. Conroe, ranking member on the House Ways and Means Committee, who recently traveled to Mexico with Cuellar to urge the Obrador administration to increase Mexico's budget to ensure the new labor laws were enforced, said he was encouraged by the progress I'm seeing in Congress. It is in all parties' best interest to get this done because here's what I know, he said. Each day that Congress delays passing USMCA is a day that American workers and companies can't reap the benefits of this modernized trade agreement. Rare agreement, of course. First, Democrats and Lighthizer will need to come to an agreement. And even then, there is the question of whether Trump and Pelosi will sign off, after months of fighting with Democrats over everything from the investigation into Trump's ties with Russia to his attacks on Reps. Ilhan Omar, D. Min, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, DNY. But better protections for American workers mark a rare point of agreement between progressive Democrats and Trump, who has long railed against free trade pacts as bad deals for American workers and has worked to stop American manufacturing facilities from relocating to Mexico. There's still general optimism they can get there, said Ziff, the Washington trade attorney. If progress can be marked by the lack of setbacks, then progress has been made. There have been numerous opportunities for this process to go off the rails, and leaders from both parties in the White House have worked to keep it on track. James.Osborne at Cron.com, Twitter, @OsborneA. Let's block ads. Why?